I am the very model of an individual with gout. I am now doing well since this condition I know much about. I know that I have too much uric acid that forms crystals, which are needle-shaped and mostly found inside my toes and other joints. I had toe pain and redness from those nasty little needle points. The gout attack has passed for now, the pain has stopped in all my joints, but I still have some risk of gout attacks with crystals there inside. There inside. So now I vow to use my wise physician's counsel as my guide.
Fuck you.
Now we'll have high voltage as...
Here's Phil to tell you more.
Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen, Darkside Phil here, and welcome. I have just finished masturbating. And I watched it live with all of my viewers in my stream chat, and we were talking and chatting it up during this conference going on, and I took ridiculous... Well, I'm not centered at all. What the hell's going on?
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
I took ridiculously copious notes.
The corporations have created everything, and we owe the corporations for everything that we have in life.
Fuck you. And it's like, this is the... Obviously, it's supposed to be a criticism of modern society, but at the same time, we're sitting here watching a live broadcast from a major corporation, and I'm like, boy, is this like ironic that this is the theme of a game, this is how they open up the press conference, because this whole thing is going to be about 2 hours of shilling for corporations, and this is how you open that we owe everything to corporations, right? Excuse me? Now Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, comes out to a raucous ovation in the auditorium, and I'm like, when did this guy become like a rock star? Like, I understand that people like the guy. He's a very personable guy. He's got a good air. You know, when he presents himself at E3, he seems like a fun guy. But when did this guy become like a guy that's like massively loved? If you take a look at the track record of Microsoft the past couple of years, their E3 press conferences have been lackluster. Their exclusive games have been terrible. What has Microsoft done in the last 3 years that you love Phil Spencer? So to me, like, this raucous ovation in the auditorium, I'm like, okay, I guess you're just happy to be here or something. I can't imagine what they're actually cheering for, because we don't even know what's going to happen during this conference. It was really silly, okay?
I mean, I'll be honest, just like any other normal human, yes, am I jealous of certain people and of people who are successful and whatever? Of course I am. Of course I'm going to have jealousy. That's a natural human emotion for those who have more than you. You're always going to have that natural kind of jealousy of those who maybe have, been more successful or things like that.
So basically he says, we're going to present 60 games today. And immediately I said to myself, yeah, they're going to present 60 games, but they're going to do exactly what they do every year. They're actually going to probably present like 20 games, and then they'll show 40 games in a montage of like 5 seconds each game, so you have no idea what the hell they are, and you'll have no intelligible idea of what kind of a game this even is, but they'll claim that they presented it today, okay? They do this every year. Then they tease a new horror game that no one had ever heard of before. It shows a dog who had disappeared. Then all of a sudden, guy and a dog going into a wood. You're trying to find the dog chasing you through the woods. You end up in a cabin. The Blair Witch changes. All of a sudden now there's like dog, and the whole thing changes. Like the kid who had disappeared chasing you through the woods. You end up in a jump scare. It's pretty creepy to me. At the same time, I've had some pretty bad experiences with demons and things chasing you through the woods. So I'm kind of skeptical, but at the same time, I do like playing these style of games. So I'm kind of excited. But I gotta ask a question. Why the Blair Witch? What the fuck? What does that mean? You know, now I'm like, what does that, this is wild and insane. What is going on? Moving on. And then all of a sudden they show this guy like out in the desert, and he looks up and it's fucking Keanu Reeves standing over him. Whoa! And then the whole thing goes black, and Keanu Reeves actually walks out from the back onto the stage. And like, holy shit, so Keanu Reeves is like a main character in Cyberpunk, which he had not known until today. I guess that was a big surprise that they kept under wraps, and that's good. I mean, it's a good way to keep it under wraps. And then, now here's the hilariousness. I just told you guys like a couple minutes ago, Phil Spencer was on stage saying, we're going to present 60 games today. They then proceed to roll their typical E3 montage, which I'm not even kidding, I should have counted, probably was 20 to 30 games. That was just 4 or 5 second snippets. You have no idea what any of these games are. It's like, I called it, and then they fucking did it. Every year they do the same shit, and then they claim like they presented so much, when in reality they don't. Showing you 2 seconds of a game is not enough for you to understand it. So maybe they just shouldn't bother with that. They should say, oh, if you want to find out about all these fun games, come over here and watch it online or whatever. Because for me, it's like kind of a waste of time. This big 5-minute montage of stuff I have no idea what I just saw. You know what I mean? And some of the games looked good, but again, it's not enough information. Now I gotta go seek out all this shit myself. I don't know. I'm 36 years old, guys. I'm not 20 years old, you know. I have to get up and move around and do physical activity and do other things. Okay. Moving on, they preview a game that's supposed to be real-time 4K rendering on consoles. Most games on consoles aren't running at 4K, even on the Xbox One X, and the ones that do don't run very well. It's Microsoft Flight Simulator returning, and they show all kinds of locations. Egypt, major cities like Seattle. They actually fly over the Space Needle right here in Seattle where I live, and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, I mean, it's cool if you're into flight, and flight sims great. I don't know if that's necessarily a game that's going to appeal to mainstream audiences in 2019, but it's cool that I guess it's coming back. It hasn't been around in quite some time, and it looked beautiful. So, there you go. Fuck it, next game. A man named Matt
Booty.
That's right, B-O-O-T-Y is his last name. How unfortunate. Came out and announced, we have now partnered with Double Fine. We have taken Double Fine Games under our wing as one of the new exclusive Microsoft studios.
And I'm like, wait a minute, Double Fine Games, let me rack my brain. Oh shit, Tim Schafer?
Yeah, the studio that made Psychonauts and the studio that recently made Broken Age. How many of you remember the Broken Age debacle? I remember because I was part of it. I liked Tim Schafer games until Broken Age, when Tim Schafer literally took everyone's crowdfunded money and ran with it and never produced the second half of the game. What he did is he re-released the first half of the game with a few new puzzles and had one of the worst endings ever in gaming history rehashed to claim that he finished the game when he really didn't. So I'm not excited about this at all.
Tim Schafer is a scoundrel.
He hasn't made a game since then, by the way. Or if he did, he's crowdfunding another one that no one fucking knows about. Like, why would you want Tim Schafer under your umbrella? This was one of the most controversial things in the last, 10 years in gaming. Where he crowdfunded this game that ended up being completely unfinished, and he rushed out the second half in the same locations as the first half because he basically wasted all the money. He squandered all the crowdfunding money on frivolous shit, I guess, and didn't have enough to really do a second half of the game, so he just rushed it out. By the way, Tim Schafer, also one of the most controversial figures in the gaming community because of things he's said and done, people he's insulted. He's not a very, how can I say, professional and likable guy. You know what I mean? So I don't know why Microsoft is, celebrating this guy's under their umbrella. You're actually, in my opinion, this is my opinion, you're asking for trouble. You know what I mean? This guy is infamous for trouble, and now you've invited him into your company. I don't get that. But anyway, they announced Psychonauts 2, which we already knew was in development. There'd already been information that Psychonauts 2 was coming out. So they ran this trailer, and the game kind of looks like Psychonauts 1's remaster. If you guys remember, I played Psychonauts 1's remaster. I think it was on Xbox 360. It could have been PS3 years ago. And it kind of looks like that. It looks like 2 generations old graphics.
And I'm not surprised because that's kind of Tim Schafer.
You know what I mean? Oh, I promised the world, now here's the game. It looks like shit. By the way, I liked Psychonauts 1. I played Psychonauts 1 and thought it was a really decent game. But since the debacle with Broken Age, I have zero confidence in this guy and his game development studio, especially because they really haven't done anything since then. And that was a long fucking time ago. So, I don't know why people would be excited about this announcement. To me, it's kind of a non-announcement.
That is the epitome of being a bitch. That guy has literally no fucking respect at all.
We're like, wow, that guy's a real piece of shit. Boy, this guy talks with his hands. Yellow icons show you people that you want to talk to. Orange icons are people who fucking talk like this. Blue icons show people who are looking for help. How do you like? I'm starting a miming career next week. I'm practicing right now. I'll talk to you. Now this was good. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a new Xbox Elite controller coming out. Wow, you mean like that other cool controller with the rubberized bumpers and the the completely redesigned D-pad and the thumbsticks and motorized things and adjustments and programmability that sells for like $150? You could buy an Xbox One right now for around $200. The controller costs $150 fucking dollars, right? And I've never used one, so I can't attest if it's any better than the original Xbox One controller or not.
I've never used one, so I can't attest if it's any better than the original Xbox One controller or not.
But for me, $150 investment in a controller is insane. If you're talking a joystick, okay? If you're talking this. Okay, this is giant. It has a giant case, I understand why this would be $150. This giant weighted joystick, okay? Why on earth would you spend $150 for something that's a normal controller? It just blows me away. If you're a tournament competitor, okay, but outside of that, that's insanely expensive. So now they announced this new one. So what are the improvements in the second wave? Oh, we redesigned it from the ground up. Now it's going to have programmability, so you can program different button presets you could switch between on the fly for different games. And we redesigned this and that. They're naming certain things. I guess some of the major things, it now has a built-in rechargeable battery. It has Bluetooth connectivity instead of the proprietary Xbox wireless connectivity. And also it has a recharging station it comes with to recharge the battery. And they said the battery can last up to 40 hours. Admittedly, Xbox controllers are pretty good. I like the Xbox One controller, the Xbox 360 controller. They usually last a long time, but okay, great. They redesigned it. So obviously they want to appeal to a mainstream audience, so they discounted the price, right? It's probably like $100. It's $179.99. What? Now, the other thing that gets me, we're at the end of the Xbox's life cycle. Like, we know the new Xbox is coming out. More than likely, it will have a new controller for it. You're going to drop $180 on a fucking controller at the end of a console's life cycle? What the fuck are you thinking? You know what I mean? So, for me, I'm listening. I'm like, who are they advertising to? Unless they think there's like thousands of people out there with insane amount of money to blow on junk. You know what I mean? But that's just nuts to me that they actually spent all this time on it. $180 fucking dollars. That's almost the cost of the console.
Claiming that games will run on this up to 120 frames per second.
Fucking Weirdo! Oh my god!
Oh, $100.
Fucking Weirdo!
120 frames per second on a console. On a console. I'm sorry, but I have to give a loud bullshit belly laugh to that one.
Cockroach Truffles. Cheers. Will you upload your copious amount of notes for us to read later? No. What is it with everyone asking this now? Is this, again, a new meme? Honest Bomber Tip Me $1 says, do you find jokes about 9/11 Simulator funny? What? No? I can't tell how far we can go with edgy jokes in the stream chat. I didn't make any jokes about that, so I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. They got a new game IP coming out. It's called Deathloop, and I have no idea what it is. I know it's combat, but what it is, it's a trailer where it shows one man. He's an African-American guy. I'm assuming it's African-American because he speaks, perfect English. He's an African-American guy. I'm assuming it's African-American because he speaks, perfect English. He's an African-American guy. I'm assuming it's African-American because he speaks, perfect English.